AITA for living with my grandma at 31 and telling people to STFU when they tell me to get a real job. I always considered my grandparents my parents. My grandpa passed in January. I had been working at the same store. Since a teenager I made a pretty decent wage since I had 14 years of raises, but I hated it. Link was really taking a toll on my mental health, and after my grandpa passed it just made everything worse. My grandma was also not doing well. She has always had an extreme fear of being alone and was grieving her husband she had spent 64 years with. I was spending as much time with her as possible and trying to cheer her up. Then when COVID hit I started worry about catching and giving it to her. We decided I would quit. I would move in with her, then she wouldn't have to be alone and I wouldn't have to have a job I hate. This has worked out well for us both. Of our mental health has improved. This has also given me the time and energy to start taking college classes online. Ever since my mom found I quit and moved in with my grandma, she has been spamming me, calling me a loser and a deadbeat. I blocked her, so she calls my grandma and makes her cry. She tells her she's holding me back by letting me live with her, that I'm an embarrassment to the family. She also told her I'm being guilt tripped into it. Not true. My grandma blocked her. Now she recruits neighbors to pry because my grandma won't kick me out. My mom stepdad wrote us out of their wills now. If something happens to them neither of us get my siblings, because according to my mom and stepdad they will grow up to be a loser like me. This has completely devastated my grandma. She worries what will happen to them. She also now fears they are right and that she is holding me back from having a better life and that I don't actually want to be here. Now my grandma says everyone will benefit if she is gone. I could have the house to myself or rent it out or sell it, then not have to worry about money. Go to a good university instead of a community college. She thinks if I go to a better school I will get a better job and this will impress my mom and stepdad and they will let me have the kids. I don't want my grandma going anywhere. This is her home. She took me in when I was a kid. She was there for me. I have no problem being here for her. I still have some income from other work. I have no debt. I may not have a 401k or something, but I do have a good bit of money saved up. Everyone else seems to think there is a problem, but my only problem is nosy neighbors and my other family members prying into my life. Now when my mom has someone else call me or my grandma I tell them to shut the duck up and mind their own damn business. Some of these people have complained to my mom and stepdad that I was rude to them, but I really don't think I'm the one being an asshole. My therapist says there is never a reason to be rude. I'm getting close to telling her to shut the duck up. NTA. How dare you tell someone who is harassing you to shut up? Unacceptable. /s. For real, if you're taking college classes and have enough savings to make it through COVID I don't see a problem. If you were just chilling and bumming out that would be different. Get that degree, get a good jobs and support your grandma. Sometimes I think they are jealous that I never had a real job and yet I have savings. They can't manage their money at all. Side note. You can't will your kids to someone. They certainly take your wishes into consideration. But it's not black and white like that. If someone does happen to them, just make sure your ducks are in a row and talk to whoever they will them to. It might be that simple, or it might involve some lawyers. You got this. NTA. Honestly, you don't need toxic people like that in your life. If you're grandma and you are mentally feeling better with the living situation, then no one else's opinion matters. NTA. I don't really understand people's objections. You're a student, a debt-free student, not many of them about. You are also caring for your grandmother, which is a job in itself. How is your grandmother holding you back when you are now getting a degree? It sounds to me as if everyone was happy when you were slogging through your crappy job. They didn't care that you were unhappy, just that you had a job. Now that you are bettering yourself, they can't put you in that neat little box anymore, and they're freaking out. Ignore them and get a new therapist. They didn't consider that job real, or any of my other jobs, since I usually had more than one at a time. They would talk shit then but not as frequently, and they weren't bothering my grandma. I wouldn't consider those assholes real family. NTA. Your mom should mind her own business. Mostly since she sounds like she was a terrible mother for you growing up. How is she supposed to know what's best when she couldn't be a good mother? I'm assuming this cause you said you always considered your grandparents your parents. For both your situations it was probably the best for you both. But with your mom harassing your grandma, I'd check to see if that's elderly abuse, cause she shouldn't be able to do that to an elderly woman. Also, you're going to college now, and even if it's community you can eventually transfer to a 4-year if you want to. That will open better opportunities for you. Your assumptions are right, and I wish I had went to college at 18. I felt I had to leave my grandparents as soon as I graduated high school or I would be a low life burden. I ended up stuck in a rut and wasting my youth working jobs that led to nowhere. My mom is pretty well blocked now, and my grandma has been telling the neighbors they are misinformed, and if they are worried about me, they can speak to me directly. Your mother has some goddamn nerve calling you a loser when she was clearly a pretty shit mom and is now being a shit daughter. You moved into care for your grandmother because she was lonely and needed companionship, if not physical help. That's a kind and selfless thing. Even if you are also happier there. And I'm guessing your mother had something to do with you feeling like you'd be a burden if you stayed with your grandparents while going to school at 18. Stop listening to your mother. She's not a good person. She doesn't give good advice. And she's the one holding you back and being unsupportive. Your grandmother is the GOAT, and please tell her we all say so. She's starting to sound depressed, and that's concerning, and maybe hearing that everyone on the internet thinks she's great will help. NTA. It's your life and you're entitled to live it in whatever way works for you. If you're happy with the choices you've made, that's all that matters. I'm 26 and I live with my aunt. Sometimes I'm self-conscious about it, but out of our entire family we only have each other. Long story. It's nothing to be ashamed of. You obviously have an amazing relationship with your grandmother and I'm happy for you. Live your life the way you want to live it. Make choices that work for you and make you happy, and you'll have no regrets at the end of the day. Also, it may be worth telling your therapist off. Maybe get a new one. These people are all on your case and recruiting others to pry into your business where they don't belong. There's definitely a reason to be rude. Some people don't listen to the gentle approach to boundary setting. I'm just unhappy I let them drag me down for years. I probably would have been done with college by now if I didn't waste so many years trying to make them happy and picking up their responsibilities. I'm probably going to ditch the therapist. You sound like a great grandson, and that you and your grandma are doing right by each other. But also, this line. My therapist says there is never a reason to be rude. I'm getting close to telling her to shut the duck up. Made me crack up. It makes me think of this. Scene link. youtube.com/watch v=f4czzo from airplane, only with you just going through life telling all these busybodies and insensitive folks to shut the duck up. Keep up that energy, king. Man, I feel a little heartbreak reading this. For you, but even more for your grandmother. NTA, live your life, man. Can't please everyone. Always try to be critical of your choices and see if there is a better way, but as you describe it here, you are where you are needed and even have time to get a college degree. Sounds like a lot of wins and very few losses. My mom and them have really made a bad situation worse. My grandma is Italian, and she says it's normal for adult children to live with family until they have their own kids, and even sometimes even then. She doesn't get why this bothers so many people in America and is looked down on. A bit of reassurance, BTW. You can't will children. If your mum and partner die, then a court will decide what is in your siblings' best interests. NTA. I hate to give the stereotypical AITA answer here, but have you considered going no contact? Talk to your grandmother first to make sure she's on board with it. But the rest of your family need to be given a choice. They can harass you and your grandmother over taking care of her during a pandemic and get completely cut off. Or they can have a normal relationship with the two of you. The downside here is that you'll have to follow through with a few family members, since they probably won't all take the relationship. The upside is that JFC, look what these people have made you. Nearly telling your therapist to duck off. Do you really need that in your life? It and would probably be an easy choice if I didn't have siblings. I have wanted to in the past before COVID, but I was very involved in their daily care. But things are different now. They have virtual school, and my mom is home, and their dad has reduced hours and he probably isn't letting them go hungry or locking them out. We are pretty much no contact right now. Guess we will see what happens after the pandemic. I didn't want to speculate in the initial AITA response. But is your grandmother well enough off that other family members could be worried you're trying to weasel your way into a bigger share of any inheritance? Sometimes people get a little crazy when money starts to get involved. Auntie Amy gets riled up at the thought of someone treating Gran poorly, especially since she has always done so much for them. Now is the one time that she is the one that needs help and all they are doing is making it worse. Auntie A. Is the rest of the family worried you'll get everything in the will if something happens to your grandma? Not only that, but I think they want me out of the picture so they can take advantage of her. All the more reason to stay exactly where you are and not let them take her for a ride. Auntie A. While there indeed isn't a need to be rude, I can completely understand that you're well fed up with the situation. Your mother seems like a horrible person. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with you being there for a family member. It really doesn't seem that the rest of your family cares about your grandma. And I can see why you like her more than your real parents. I do think that you should cut your neighbors some slack, since they don't really know the situation and are just going from what your mother has told them. You should explain the situation to them so they can understand. But your parents, and especially your mother, sounds like a absolute asshole. If my mother was like that, I'd go no contact with her. You're onto something. For a few years my siblings actually lived with my grandma. One of them was young enough that it was the only living arrangement they remembered. They didn't want to go back. When they left I would bring my grandma over to visit a lot. She doesn't drive. I would still take them to school and stuff. They would often complain to me about not being fed or being locked out. I think my mom is trying to ruin the image they have of us. Yeah. Your mother kinda sounds like a narcissist. You should keep an eye on your siblings, just in case something happens. Auntie A. I know this seems crazy, but parents are actually supposed to care for you in a healthy, non-abusive way. They're not supposed to insult you or make you feel like a loser or outcast. They're supposed to lift you up, not put you down. They're supposed to help you overcome adversity, not create it. They're supposed to help make things better, not worse. I'm sure they think they're helping, but they are only concerned about themselves, and you make them live for you, not them. This is just something I'm starting to realize, and damn does it hurt. They have done the exact opposite. Now that I have friends that have kids that are school aged, and I can see how they interact with them, build them up, and encourage them. Mine always did the opposite. They just tore me apart and knocked me down, then made fun of me for scraping by. Your therapist is an idiot. You keep doing what you're doing. You are looking after your grandmother. You're getting a qualification that can help you improve both of your lives, and you're being responsible during the pandemic. There is nothing bad here. Auntie A. My therapist says there is never a reason to be rude. I'm getting close to telling her to shut the duck up. Auntie A. Also, your therapist is wrong. Auntie A. Now when my mom has someone else call me or my grandma, what? Question mark? Question mark? Practice saying, I'm now exiting the conversation. Goodbye. There is no need to scream and curse. Not everyone she has contacting starts the convo off without yelling and cursing. Then hang up or turn your back on them. Auntie A. You're doing what's best for you. I'm actually as happy for you as I'm jealous. Keep enjoying your time with your grandma. I'm sure she will love it, and you'll have lots of memories of both of you together. Cool grandparents are amazing, but they sure leave us too soon. You're not a loser because you are studying to better yourself. This is the opposite of being a loser. Keep reassuring your grandma that you are doing well, that she is helping you reach your full potential, and you will earn more money in the future. I think I agree your family is jealous. Auntie A. You are in school, taking care of your grandmother, and taking a much needed mental health break from work you hated. You are doing very well right now, but you need to take a next step now. Tell your therapist to shut the duck up. There are many ducking reasons to be rude, and this is one of them. This is taking a toll on you and your sweet grandmother, and this idiot is telling you some kindergarten fairy tale? Question mark? Bullshit. Do what you need to do to protect yourself and your loved ones. I think your therapist sucks lol. For real though. You do you. Dude. Your mental health is important, and how you live your life is your business. Not to mention, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Your mother is being a real BTCH and I'm glad you blocked her. Screw them all. And keep you and your grandma happy. NTA. This is a wonderful setup. Your grandma has company from someone she loves. You can focus on your courses and move ahead in life. Both you and your grandma sound absolutely lovely. This is a very smart arrangement that equally benefits you both. 1. Block your parents and anyone who harassed you. 2. Write your grandma a card or letter detailing how much you love her, how much she has done for you, how grateful you are, and what an incredible person she is. Sounds like she needs a reminder due to all the bullying. 3. Work hard. Get good grades. Volunteer/intern. And to make yourself and grandma proud. 4. Don't worry about your siblings and the changes to your mom's will. They are doing this to be callous and manipulative. They're jealous and incredibly selfish. 5. Your grandma should make a new will where everything goes to you, except a small monetary amount, so your mom can't contest it. Get a lawyer, and make sure it's ironclad. 6. Live your best life. Sounds like it hasn't been easy, but you have still remained kind and ambitious. Move forward. Ignore your parents. And become the amazing person your grandma sees in you. !!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!!! was originally written. In case the post is deleted or edited, read this link. Reddit. com/r/AMITHEASSHOLE/WIKI/wiki_POST_DELETION. Before contacting the mod team link. Reddit.com/message/compose. TO equals %2FR%2 fam I thus all. I always considered my grandparents my parents. My grandpa passed in January. I had been working at the same store since a teenager. I made a pretty decent wage since I had 14 years of raises, but I hated it. It was really taking a toll on my mental health, and after my grandpa passed it just made everything worse. My grandma was also not doing well. She has always had an extreme fear of being alone and was grieving her husband she had spent 64 years with. I was spending as much time with her as possible and trying to cheer her up. Then when COVID hit, I started worry about catching and giving it to her. We decided I would quit. I would move in with her. Then she wouldn't have to be alone and I wouldn't have to have a job I hate. This has worked out well for us. Both of our mental health has improved. This has also given me the time and energy to start taking college classes online. Ever since my mom found I quit and moved in with my grandma, she has been spamming me, calling me a loser and a deadbeat. I blocked her, so she calls my grandma and makes her cry. She tells her she's holding me back by letting me live with her, that I'm an embarrassment to the family. She also told her I'm being guilt tripped into it. Not true. My grandma blocked her. Now she recruits neighbors to pry. Because my grandma won't kick me out, my mom, stepdad wrote us out of their wills. Now if something happens to them, neither of us get my siblings. Because according to my mom and stepdad, they will grow up to be a loser like me. This has completely devastated my grandma. She worries what will happen to them. She also now fears they are right and that she is holding me back from having a better life and that I don't actually want to be here. Now my grandma says everyone will benefit if she is gone. I could have the house to myself or rent it out or sell it. Then not have to worry about money. Go to a good university instead of a community college. She thinks if I go to a better school I will get a better job and this will impress my mom and stepdad and they will let me have the kids. I don't want my grandma going anywhere. This is her home. She took me in when I was a kid. She was there for me. I have no problem being here for her. I still have some income from other work. I have no debt. I may not have a 401k or something, but I do have a good bit of money saved up. Everyone else seems to think there is a problem. But my only problem is nosy neighbors and my other family members prying into my life. Now when my mom has someone else call me or my grandma, I tell them to shut the duck up and mind their own damn business. Some of these people have complained to my mom and stepdad that I was rude to them. but I really don't think I'm the one being an asshole. My therapist says there is never a reason to be rude. I'm getting close to telling her to shut the duck up. I'm a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit /message/compose/ TO equals /r/AMITHEASSHOLE if you have any questions or concerns. NTA. They are toxic to your grandma and you. I'm so sorry. This is really nice for you. Stay with her. Can you tell her you don't see this as burden with her? Companionship/caring for aging parents and grandparents can actually be a full-time job. You are extended their lifespan and improving their quality of life. That is something that should be thanked and rewarded. If the rest of your family are concerned for your motives, then perhaps they should check their own motives first. NTA. You moved in with her to take care of each other. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And you're not freeloading. You went back to school. Don't let your grandma think that at all. You have money saved and are taking college courses. That's not a deadbeat. It's awful about being written out of the will. But you might able to still fight for your siblings if anything happened. I'm not a lawyer so don't quote me, but people contest wills all the time. Multi-generational homes are not bad. When we moved, we took my grandmother with us so that we could all afford to live in a house, and it was great. She helped pay bills and we took care of her in her last few years. There is absolutely nothing wrong with your situation. Do whatever you can to help your grandmother see that your mom can get bent. Your parents are toxic. NTA. Take care of yourself and grandma. She's the one who was there for you all of the time. You owe your deadbeat parents nothing. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.